I can't wait to
Decent exposure at the UK Games Expo.
Why does it say Lewis? Fuck you, Nathan. Why won't you put that against Nathan?
I didn't put that there.
No, but I can see Tom's thing saying Thomas Mayer's writing fuck you, Nathan.
So the title of the video is obviously going to be Lewis exposes his micro pulse laser.
Can we also? Sorry, guys. I'd like to suggest that for the mech of the week we do the Mauler.
Fuck off!
No.
And welcome to episode 13. The Hexperts get exposed at the UK Games Expo. There was a lot worse titles than that suggested, but that's about as PG as we can get it to be. Your host is Sneebin. I'm myself, Lewis. We got Tom over there in his corner. We've got Nathan on his chair over there. And we got Dom down in the MCP basement.
I'm Nathan's chair.
You don't want to be that chair.
No.
You don't want to be that chair. So anyway, this episode we're going to be talking about what happened the past couple of weeks. Obviously, big thing for us is that we were at the expo. I can't believe that Mike Whitaker at the Tales of Periphery has got his episode out before us on the expo.
No, Lewis. I don't think Mike's got an episode out.
He's got it out. I've listened to it.
No.
You just don't believe it.
Just
Ignore it. Just pretend it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Manifest it not happening.
I've realised that the best way to stop Mike beating us is if I just ignore its existence.
You can't.
At which point, I feel a lot better about myself. So
yeah, but I mean,
sorry,
we've
Mike,
got to feel good about
buddy.
We've got to feel good about ourselves. We've got like 12 episodes out in this time span. He got the UK Games Expo one out.
Well, anyway, we. While we were there as well, we got new business cards that we might have stolen off Mike and written our names on. That was funny. But yes, anyway, so we're going to be talking about the expo as our main topic. However, let's have a little catch up with what we've been doing in the meantime. So let's have a look at the list. The list was me at the start. So what have I been up to? I have been painting up some Jade Falcon mechs from some of the stuff I bought at the expo. So I've been painting up an Executioner / Gladiator, Timberwolf / Magcat, and a Nova / Blackhawk, which we can see, I'm sure, on the Instagram later. I think Nathan's in charge of that this week, so it might actually get done. Then we'll hand across to we're going to hand across to Dom, who's now sure was going to be telling us about all the mechs he's painted up this week.
I painted up a Marauder.
Yeah,
an Atlas.
Yeah, he's doing it, boys.
A Warhammer.
No. Something's making me feel like this is a lie.
One of these is a lie.
This is actually so as you know, Dom fell down a well last week. I'm from the Mirror universe where Dom loves Battletech and plays it all the time.
Oh my god, it's Mod!
It's
Mod! Dom, it's Mod!
It's Mod! He's here!
It's Mod. Hi, it's Mod. I've got a mustache. And I can grow chest hair.
Some pictures.
I look like Carl Noonien Sung from Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, if you can imagine.
I don't have to. I have seen you recently.
So
yeah, but that was the old Dom.
True.
So if you were actual Dom, not Mod, what would actual Dom have got done this week or last week and this week?
Actual Dom did commissions for Marvel Crisis Protocol and played some games of Marvel Crisis Protocol. And to be fair, I keep asking people for an intro to Battletech, but no one gives me one. I don't know what.
Dom, don't lie. I'm gonna.
It's because
I'm serious. I'm serious.
You ran out of bib when I said, "Do you want to play Battletech?" You literally.
I'm serious. I'm trying to play Battletech, but no one wants to do it.
I think
how long?
I think Ian's going to attack you if you when he hears this.
No. It's I do actually want to play a game of it soon, but it's all about availability and just like, you know, everyone's busy and stuff, and I would like to play a game soon, so we'll see if I can wrangle it in my schedule, and maybe we'll record it and
Yeah.
pop it on the channel.
Oh god, we're definitely going to be doing that during a game night on the Thursday. I'm about to hear anything. But yeah, but anyway,
No, but we'll do it in your basement, Lewis.
My basement. Oh, I need to dig one up then. But yeah, so what were the models you painted up, Dom? I've seen some pictures of what you've been up to. Do you want to go into a bit more detail, or do you want to keep it like?
Sure,
do you want to keep it
sure.
mysterious?
Well, yeah. So I was going to until you basically like strong-armed me into saying it. So I painted Toad from the Marvel universe. Toad is a man who is a bit like a toad, so they call him Toad. But because the faction that I'm doing is called Servants of the Apocalypse, it's actually like a kind of more scary toad man, if you can imagine. So he's kind of zombified. He's got some skulls on his base. He looks very, very edgy.
It
looks really cool.
It looks cooler,
really fun to work on.
Looks cooler than Toad should look.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Toad, but with shades on, basically. That's how cool he is.
And anything else, Dom?
Tom's just looking at what Toad is.
What a Toad is. He's never seen a Toad.
No, sorry, I was just looking up Servants of the Apocalypse.
Okay.
Just looking up to see what the options were for that.
I like,
Ignore me, please.
I like how loud Tom's keyboard. I'm sure the leveling software will cut out later, but it's like he's playing. It's like he's playing a sound of someone doing a keyboard.
That wasn't actually Tom's keyboard. That was Michael Flatley in Tom's bathroom. Just tapping away in the bathroom.
Oh no! Anyway, and so before we carry on, so the last thing you painted up, I gathered, Dom, was some lovely wood elves, and my wife was very annoyed that you painted them in an uneven number.
Well, no. Let me just be really correct here. I didn't paint these wood elves. I just rebased them.
Oh, so
it's the correct base size.
Well, that still counts.
But they are mine.
That still counts.
Can take them.
That's still hobby.
They are. I bought them and then I rebased
them. Right?
Yeah, and they're cool, and I like them, and I think it's fun to paint a little foresty elves sometimes.
Cool. Is that everything for the past couple of weeks for you then, Dom?
That's everything for me. I think I'm out of my hobby funk.
Would you say you're out of your well?
I'm out of my well. I think I climbed out. I cried wolf or something, and now I'm out of the well. And so I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling happy. I'm looking forward to the rest of the British summertime. You know, just general good things for me.
Well, it's like the end of the Shawshank Redemption for Dom right now. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, they're going to find me under a tree.
Cool. Anyway, we'll move across to Tom then. Tom, what have you been up to?
Oh, Lewis, what do you think I've been up to?
Probably nothing, because you've burnt out from the expert.
Oh, so you'd actually be so wrong.
What?
I have. Oh no, I've been doing stuff. I built my Gervalt Valkyrie, which is a lovely Macross model in 1/72nd, which is definitely not a unseen Phoenix Hook Lamb, but which is in kind of flight mode, so that's pretty cool. I also managed to source a couple of other unseen battle mechs, so I've been on a bit of a hunt this week. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Battletech, and I've kind of got into a bit more scale modelling recently. So I thought, you know what, I'll do the two. And I was aware there were other, because I've got the Glaug, which is the Marauder, the Valkyrie, which is the Phoenix Hook Lamb, the Regult, which is the Ost Scout, and then the Destroid Spartan, which is the Archer. So I was like, you know what, I'll try and see whether I can get the other ones. And I've managed to find the three other mechs that I haven't got hold of, which is the Abiat T10B Blockhead, which is the old Wolverine.
Yeah. The
Combat Armors Max 30 Saltic H8 Round Facer, which is obviously a Griffin, duh, and the Ironfoot 4 F4X Hasty, which is a Thunderbolt. So eventually I'll be picking these up, but they are only available in Japan at the moment.
Yeah.
And I actually say that I've literally just locked eyes on the Combat Armor Dougram, which is literally a Shadowhawk. So,
yeah. I don't know.
I don't like the way you said that, Nathan. That sounded personal.
What do you mean? I actually have been watching a bit of the cross stuff, and that is, I'm liking the mix.
Oh, that's sick. Okay, in that case, then yeah, no, it's the it's the it's it's very clear that they literally just stole it. Like Battletech needs to get its shit together.
No.
You mean 20 years ago?
Yeah, man, fasa.
Fasa needs to sort themselves out. The thing they've done,
Fasa
the thing they did a couple of decades ago.
Bloody hell,
Fasa.
Fasa. Get yourself together, lads. Come on.
Fasa, sort your shit out. However, I have actually been doing some other hobby apart from just like looking at stuff. I managed at the UK Games Expo. I picked up a lovely game by a bunch of lads called Void Scar Miniatures.
Yeah,
something called From Ashes, which is a 1/100th sci-fi skirmish game, or a kind of semi-platoon level. But it's kind of the guys that are working on it used to work on Halo Ground Command.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a spiritual success of Halo Ground Command, and even to the point at which the guys apparently have got unofficial Halo Ground Command rules for for use in From Ashes. So it's pretty cool. I'm painting up some not ODSTs at the moment, which is pretty. I literally looked and I went, "They look like ODSTs," and the guy was like, "They basically are ODSTs," and I was like, "Cool, I'm sold." I bought some drop pods for them, so they do actually deep striking because I've got some drop pods for them.
Are you going to be there with the like Halo Wars ODST voice lines? Just like press the one button, just continues. So they go, ODSTs jumping down.
So I actually have I do actually have a bit of a confession to make vis-a-vis ODST. Not ODST, sorry, Halo Wars. I've never actually played Halo Wars.
You've never played Halo Wars,
which is the weirdest thing because I am the most RTS pilled person in this whole group. Like I am.
I thought you were going to say autistic.
Obviously, you're not. Obviously, you're not, Tom.
Well, obviously, I'm not, but I have, due to a greater or lesser degree, played throughout the entirety of my life. Like Supreme Commander is one of my favorites, and that kind of ilk. So it confuses me as much as it confuses anyone else that I haven't played Halo Wars, but I just never did.
I don't think you've.
It was an Xbox for a bit.
You've achieved manhood until you've successfully warthog rushed someone online.
Yeah.
I will take that up with myself at a later date. We're just going to leave it there.
We'll have to play, but yeah.
We are going to have to play. I'm hoping it's on Xbox Game Pass because...
It probably is.
I imagine it is.
Absolutely it is.
So I've been building some of that stuff, which is cool. I'm hoping to get some games. They're usually up in Nottingham, so I'm hoping to go up at some point and play some of that. But it's cool.
You have to teach me how to play it.
Yeah, it's chill. I think it was for a 400-point army. I think it ran me about 90 quid, which is the whole. Like that's only what you'll need. Like you only need 400 points. So
we say that though about Battletech. You only need 4 mechs, but then it's spirals.
Oh yeah, you only need 400 points. You only need 4 mechs. I mean, I've got Sol Enclaves. Oh no, not Sol Enclaves. Sorry, I've got what's they called? The SFA, which is one of the factions. I don't know what SFA stands for. It's one of the. It's got a silly name. It's got a sci-fi name. But yeah, so they're really cool, and that's really all I've been doing, to be honest. I have played some games of Battletech, but we'll get onto that at a later date. Now that I've rambled on about not Battletech.
I'm always surprised how you've made Battletech into like a middle class pursuit of like the most obscure mechs possible in the most obscure models from Japan. It's just you could just paint up the little mechs that we've got from the shop. Be like, no. That's not exclusive enough. They must make it more exclusive.
I have to import.
I must travel to the land of the rising sun to get my models.
Yes,
How about you?
I must have some caviar with my mechs, otherwise I do not enjoy them.
I have also realised that I need to pick up the Destroyed Tomahawk, which is a
stop. You're not helping. You're digging a hole. You're just digging that hole.
There are 5 1/72 kits that I need to pick up.
Oh, God.
But they're super cool. I think I like. I've got really into scale modelling recently, so I think that this is cool. I'm hoping Mike, friend of the mortal enemy of the podcast, actually, who is my only hope these days of defending, and I blame him for getting me into scale modelling.
I think
Mike, if you're listening, this is your fault.
You're always on that path.
Yeah, it's just he pushed me.
You going to let Nathan have a talk about what he's been up to now?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe you've not got anything more, have you?
Oh no.
Not at the moment, no. But yeah, for hobby, I, for the most part, have just got my grasshopper and my wraith fully painted now, including the nice brown panel lining. It was all done for the UK Games Expo, and it's really nice. As well as that, I cobbled together some mechs that I got from training with people and from getting the good old gamble boxes,
Yeah.
good old salvage packs, and I created a very nice attack lance, which I then gave to a friend of the podcast, Ian, paint up. And if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see this in about a month when I finally edit it. And also on the Instagram, of course, I got another Lance of Gallus, which now brings me up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lances. And I've got a light lance. Jeez, I can't speak.
Yeah.
Which is ready to go, which Ian wants to paint the camouflage on. It is a very funky lance, don't you agree? I've got a lot of confidence on how I've managed to squeeze 95 tons of mechs in 2,000 points.
Oh dear. Well,
For all those wondering, by the way, Halo Wars, the definitive edition, is on Game Pass.
Woo! I guess we're playing that at some point.
I think Halo
But,
Wars.
yeah.
I think Halo Wars is on PC. Halo Wars 2 isn't, is it? As far as I know. But yeah.
We could do like a Hexperts live stream where we all play Halo Wars.
Would you,
That's the game after the harebrained schemes. That's
I think we got to finish Mech Warrior first, then Hairbrain Schemes.
oh
then
yeah.
Halo Wars.
And speaking on Mech Warrior,
Yeah.
I've also, with you guys and friends,
And friend.
been playing through the Ghost Bears Mech Warrior series, which you can, by the time this is up, probably see the first 3 episodes of.
Yeah.
Even though the quality is not the best, but it will be better on the other episodes. We've got like 6 missions in now. We've just attacked like this massive space station.
Yeah, and we're also
Japan's
pretty bad
combined
at
so far.
games, apparently. We just suck
I think
so
we
hard.
would have been
well,
9 missions in
just tell me-
if you hadn't keep jumping off the spaceship.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Tom?
Tom.
Dreamer!
I refute all of this, and I think all of you.
Hi, we totally didn't, when we went to attempt it again, also fall off the spaceship.
I never
Don't
jumped
tell
off.
them what happened. No, they have to watch it. This is the point. They have to watch the episode.
I know there's pressure on me to quickly go and do it.
Cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we've talked about our hobbies. How about we talk about some games played, if we've had any games played?
Obviously, for myself, I'll talk about my games at the expo. Dom, have you been playing any games?
For me, I've played a few games of Marvel Crisis Protocol and some video games and playing Marvel Rivals. I tell you what, I haven't played it yet, but I am very excited, and I'm sure Nathan is as well, about the Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition that's coming to Game Pass tomorrow.
Ooh.
And that's the classic version of Space Marine with all
It's
of
already
the,
out.
It's coming out tomorrow, like I just said.
Well, yeah, but I thought it'd be okay. What I meant that is, I thought it was going to be coming out in like 2 months, 3 months.
That's
Not like right now.
so funny.
Technically, by the
It's coming out tomorrow, like I said.
but technically, Nathan's right, because by the time we release the episode, it will be out because it will be tomorrow. So technically, he's not wrong.
No, and technically incorrect is the best. It's going to have and I'm really looking forward to it. We'll probably do a live stream for it, but it's got crossplay, so we can all play it together and against each other and such.
It's got
so that'll be
crossplay.
fun.
It's got chaos customization. No.
Yeah,
It's
and
nice.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, whilst I haven't been playing many tabletop games, I am really looking forward to playing some video games.
Video games.
So yeah, Tom, next.
What?
What games have you been playing?
Oh, well, I didn't really play anything at the UK Games Expo for obvious reasons.
You played some,
Wasn't
mate.
it really hot at the UK Games Expo? I heard it
I
was
was
really hot.
so warm.
we'll come back to it, Tom. Come back to it.
I mean, okay, well, we'll come back to it, but bloody hell. It was problematic. No, so I played this Thursday just gone. I played Nate, who is a cool dude, also a member of the Catalyst Demo team, helped out at the UK Games Expo. Super cool dude. Ran the Drafted for War business, which is super sick. I played him. We played one of the missions that we'll talk about later, one of the Zosha missions. I got my ass handed to me because I am actually. It turns out I'm actually quite bad at Battletech.
Yeah,
you might not believe this, Lewis, but it turns out that I'm actually kind of bad at Battletech. Yeah, so I lost.
It does help that Nate has been playing Battletech longer than you've been alive.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it is.
But
I'm pretty sure it is.
we're not gonna go anyway. Either way, whatever the thing, I lost, which was cool because Nate's just a cool dude to play against in general. So I didn't really have any I wasn't going to get salty over that. And then this weekend, Nathan and I went up to Cardiff to play against the gents down there who were cool dudes and were very kind enough to host us. I'd love to say I won.
So from that we can take you didn't win.
I lost against Nathan, and then I lost against the very nice person that I played against. And I'm going to be so rude because I cannot remember what their name was. They were lovely though. All of the guys down from Cardiff were so nice and so accommodating. But yes, I lost twice.
It's okay.
I am.
You don't have to win every game.
I've lost 3 games in a row, Lewis.
Now you know how I feel.
I will put a qualifying thing on there saying I did not expect. I think I'm going to blame. It's not my fault, Lewis. It couldn't have been my fault. The gents down in Cardiff do not use floating crits, and so when my centre torso got through armor critted twice in the first turn on my Wolverine, I was like, "Oh, floating crits," and they went, "Oh, not something we play with," and I was like, okie dokie. And then I lost both of my gyros.
It's like no one that doesn't play with floating crits.
Except for us.
It's like I never meant there's like everyone else in the world plays with floating crits. I think there's like
except the people in Cardiff.
I think there's people in Cardiff and 2 people in Uruguay, and that's it. Everyone else plays floating crits.
Well, they didn't.
Like,
so
they're a bit weird down there. You have to drive 20 miles per hour, 5p for a paper bag. No wakey beers.
You're not allowed to breakfast
and no
beers.
Floating crits.
Oh yeah, we were trying to get beers after 9 o'clock last night in Cardiff city centre. Just nothing. You just can't buy them.
Yeah, but if you walk over a bridge 2 minutes away, free range. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool.
So, yeah.
Anyway, so my Wolverine was sad. Nathan, how did your game go, mate?
So let's go over my 2 games that we did down Cardiff. I didn't get a game in Thursday because sadly Ian couldn't stay for long enough for a game, but I did receive that attack lance, which I did bring down. So the first game was against Tom's rack lance, which was
this is why you lost. You know that lance doesn't work.
I ended up I was running a Centurion for rack, and I actually really like it. I mean, I just always fire 6 shots with it, and I never jump. I shot it pretty much every single turn over 2 games. And it only jammed once, which I think is, decent. And then all I do is just, we'll get on to that in a bit. But yeah, so it ended up with me chasing Tom's mechs around the board. We were on a massive water map, weren't we? I can't remember what it's based on.
Oh, I think it's called Recease River from 2Kid.
Yeah, Recease River. And I was attacking across the river. He was defensive. And
I should have won. I should have won the game.
My Highlander spent most of the time just trying to actually get across the river itself, and the others just kind of scuttled across, took out some racks, and then started taking down some mechs. And then Tom was like, "You know what? Let's just call it here and get another game in." So we did. Big victory for Gallus, as always. So
the only saving grace on that game, I will say, is the fact that your lance was beautifully painted.
Oh, absolutely. And the best part about it is that the laser actually works thanks to an optical cable.
Oh, I thought you meant that Ian had just worked out how lasers worked and just had one in.
Lasers though.
Yeah, Ian just blew Nathan fired his PPC and he just blew one of my mechs up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in real life.
you know, like how people in like American movies do like the magnifying glass on ants. It just did that to his mechs. So next to us while we were playing, we had these two lovely gentlemen playing, and one of them was using urban mechs. And as we know, that's Tom's favourite mech. But he was so gracious to let me play him next. And what happened is my 7k force was against 7 like 0-1 urban mechs. Like he had an urban mech 2, he had 2 rack urban mechs, he had the MML 30 urban mech, and it was all good fun. And it ended up in an urban mech victory because I just take down one of my mechs and just like core a hole in them with just enough of them, and I just couldn't hit them, and they're hitting on like 5s, like maximum.
You can't hit them; they don't move far enough to get to you, man.
because there's 5 of them, and once they all hit you with 6 shots from a rack,
fall over,
and then MML 30,
you're
just like, okay, cool, 1 mech's dead, and you still have 5 mechs left.
Would it have helped if you had a higher piloting skill in some of these scenarios?
No, it would have helped to have a gunnery skill, not piloting.
It would have helped if you had 17 urban mechs.
It does help.
Anything would benefit from having 17 urban mechs, Tom, come on.
So
yeah.
true. So true.
And so it was getting late. We were about 7 turns in, and I feel like I could have slugged it out eventually, but because the person who was providing the terrain seemed like they wanted to go, I did. That's not the only reason I was like, urban mech victory. It's also because urban mechs deserve victories constantly.
That's true.
Because we're fine in an urban environment. But I was like, you know what, we'll just call it here, mechs win, just so I could pack up the stuff, because they were really nice in pretty much like they just got all this printed terrain. I was like, use it, go on guys. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And it was really nice as well.
The pictures look.
They held me hostage until we used the train.
The pictures did look good from the terrain they got as well.
Yeah, it was so sick.
Yeah.
It was all Thunderhead Studios, I want to say.
I assume so. It looks like Thunderhead Studios / Gale Force 9 kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about Thunder, Tom forgot to mention that his second game is actually using his Rolling Thunder lance.
Yeah, it turns out Rolling Thunder not so good against clan mechs.
No, they're not.
It doesn't help that one of them mechs missing an arm, does
Yeah.
it? So
I didn't take the missing. I didn't take the Warhammer with the missing arm because then I have to use it. Then I have to use one of my custom sheets because I have actually. I'm so sad. Actually, that was one of the other things I've done over the last couple of weeks. Was that I went and I made in Solaris Skunkworks. I made sheets for every one of the pilots. So I am actually like at a drop of a hat, I can just play all of Rolling Thunder as they're meant to be.
Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's everything for our games played, yeah?
Cool. Well, it's a shame I couldn't come down with you guys to visit to Cardiff. You guys plan to pop down again at some point, do you reckon?
Absolutely. Anywhere there's Battletech, I'll be there.
Super.
Firestorm game, lovely place to go.
Oh yeah, Firestorm's so nice.
South Wales Battletech group, absolutely lovely group of individuals.
And
truly
wonderful. Most importantly, you got to go to the Gloucestershire services.
Oh, don't even start with Gloucester services.
The best services in the UK.
So as we're driving down, as you know, we're from the West Midlands, so we had to take the M5. And going through Wales, it was like an hour extra. So we went over the bridge near Bristol. And then Tom's like, oh yeah, let's go to services. Like, okay, yeah, sure. So, it's really nice. We pull up and I see like this mud hut. I'm like, what is this? And then we go in and it is nice. But it is the poshest, like the poshest services ever.
You can buy like a leg of pork or like a leg of cow.
You can buy like an entire rack of ribs of a cow at like a service station, and it's like you can just buy wine. Like, come on, bloody Slough services wouldn't have like posh wine, would they?
And for our American viewers, it's pronounced Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
Cool.
Gloucester.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucester. Yeah,
Gloucester. I hardly know where.
Sorry, Lewis. Where in the West Country are you from again?
Anyway, So
That classic America.
let's
Boy, it's me. I'm from America.
let's stop talking about service stations because we're actually half an hour in and we haven't got past the intro. So yeah, good times had by all, and then it sounds like something. If you're going down again, I might see if I can tag on this time. But cool. So yes. Anyway, let's carry on. So let's move on to news. News. There's no new news because there's nothing really happened. We had a lot of news, I think, last episode. So it's pretty much just waiting for stuff to appear.
There's one very important piece of news.
What's that, Nathan?
Gallus in the All Clan era has officially been confirmed. We're on the Catalyst Game Labs official Instagram, boys. Let's go.
I don't. That means that if there is no Gallus fans, Nathan has died. To be honest, if you got all the Gallus fans in the room, it would just be Nathan anyway.
Nathan is literally the only man that I know who Gallus posts unironically.
Gallus they don't even have a picture of a mech. They just have their house logo and that's it. They're a paragraph in the book.
I have a house logo and a dream, okay. And a colour reference, that's the most important.
Yeah, anyway, so there's, apart from the Gallus obviously being on the Battletech and Catalyst socials, it's on their Facebooks as well, so it's cool. And probably on Twitters or X's, I don't know what else there is, but I'm sure it's on them as well. But yeah, anyway, we'll quickly
X the everything actually.
Sorry guys, sorry. But yes, we'll quickly go over some of the events coming up because I know we're taking quite a while on the intro. But just have a quick run through some of the interesting things popping up in the coming up in the events in the area in the UK. So first, there is Corby Collecticon, June the 15th. It's going to be in Corby at the Ex-Serviceman Club. I think there's a bunch of classic and Alpha Strike stuff going on. I think it's free play, retro games, free entry, free raffle. Sounds like a bunch of fun if you're around the area. There's a Facebook page if you're searching for that. There's a bunch of cool guys there from the demo team as well. After that, we've got on the list that I've got, there's a kind of a meetup at Tabletop Republic, High Wycombe. If you search for them on Facebook, they're doing like I think just a Battletech kind of meetup. So if you're in the area and you want to play some Battletech, check out the Facebook page and maybe pop on down and play some games with them. After that, got Chasing Shadows, which is an event at Dark Sphere and also in London. 500 PV Alpha Strike Clan Invasion narrative event by Dark Sphere Games. July the 12th. Check that one out. After that, they've got Battle for Tamar, an Alpha Strike event. That's been run 9th of August in Ponder's End. I think that's you trying to think. Basically, if you search for Battle of Tamar, it'll pop up there. I think that's been run by Sam from the CDT.
Nice.
Who you would have met on Sunday on the expo.
Yes.
Irish Nationals coming up. So if you're in Ireland on the September 13th.
Which island is this, Republic or Northern?
I'm about to get to that now. It's in Dublin, so I'm assuming that means it's in Irish Republic.
Republic of.
Yes. So if you're in Ireland and you want to be playing some of the national circuit, kind of the open format Battletech, get involved with that. There's a painting competition as well there, which sounds cool. Our friends over at our friends over at the Tales Periphery are running a Alpha Strike Games Day on the 25th of October, which is going to be a tournament. Sounds like a bit of fun. I'm trying to get some of us to pop down, but I gather there's also some other events on that day in parts of Europe that guys might be at. And lastly, for this year that I've seen...
Yeah, Tom's going to Berghain.
So
That's the event in Europe. He's just going to Berghain.
Battletech Berghain. I'm in.
I
mean, why not play Battletech in a sex swing? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Because there's a piss goblin waiting at the urinal.
Almost finished this. Almost finished the section. Just let me finish the section.
Imagine you trying to move your mech, so you have to wait till you get the pinnacle of the swing to move him. And then you go back.
Okay, no, that's okay. Well, carrying on. lastly, I think it's another event run by Sam and his team.
I'll hit you with my mech fist, and I'll also hit you with my giant fist.
Oh dear. Okay. Anyway, there's an Operation Bulldog event happening December the 6th in Ponder's End, run by the same team that doing the Tamar event. Another 500 point kind of narrative Alpha Strike event.
Who is Ponders, and why do people want him to end?
Don't know, but obviously feel free to search and check these things out if you're in the area, because they all look cool and should be fun to get involved with. Do not get involved with Tom's trips to Germany if you can avoid.
Oh, I will say, unfortunately, Battletech Berghain, not a thing at the moment, but Berghain, if you are watching, I will play Battletech in a sex swing if you would like that.
I think you can't come to Periphery Assault because you're not going to Bergheim. Might be going to another event over there. You might be at Essen, might you?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, I hope so since I booked it off work. Yeah, I should be going to Spiel in Essen.
And if you're not, if you're not supposed to be there, I will cut it off the episode.
Yeah, no, I think we are. But yeah, hopefully, I think Catalyst have said.
I don't know. You might be there.
I might be there. I don't know whether I'll be there in an official or unofficial capacity, and I will not be saying.
Cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much us caught with events. I'll try and get a better list put together for next time that's more comprehensive. It's probably better. But anyway, let's pop across to the break. So we're going to catch you guys on the flip side. We're back from the break, and let's have a little bit of a talk about the UK Games Expo. So UK Games Expo is an expo in the UK at the NEC. Surprises. Yeah, it was quite a reasonable size expo, but this year it's got even bigger. I gather that it's physically larger than some of the mega cons in the States now, physically bigger than Gen Con. I don't know if it's got the footfall of Gen Con, but it's obviously getting to a size now where it's on the kind of world leaders of expos for kind of games and board games, which is surprising. I didn't realise it got that big this year. But yes, anyway, so bit of a background. Myself and Tom had been approached as members of the demo team and obviously locals to help out with the expo, and we ended up.
You've also been approached to play Battletech games in Berghain.
That one of those two has happened. One of those has not happened. One of them might be.
I like it. Every time we just get Lewis off the he's just like, oh, not again.
Oh God.
Anyway, so we were approached to run or help run out some of the events at the expo, because this year at the expo, Catalyst Games Lab themselves weren't able to attend. So, a friend of the podcast, I hope he's a friend of the podcast, Arthur, had I wouldn't say, what's the word? Not volunteered. You could phrase it like that. Had taken it upon himself.
He stepped up
to say, well, okay, if you're not going to be here, I'm going to kind of lead the demo team, and we're going to run some events as the Catalyst demo team. So there's at least a presence of Battletech and Catalyst, which I'm fairly certain if he had not got volunteered to do that, then there wouldn't have been any presence this year. So obviously, thank you very much for obviously taking the plunge and getting involved and getting that sorted.
Yeah, he's a bit like Tim Allen in that Father Christmas film, where Father Christmas has a severe accident and he has to go around and deliver all the presents. But in this case, the presents Battletech demo games.
Oh no,
right?
wait, we can't call them demo games. They were far and around or paid events, because we were this year not in the selling hall, so we can't do demos, but we could do events, paid events, and far and demand events. So
where did they put you? If they didn't put you in the hall, like you in the bathroom, you in the atrium? Where were you?
We were not in the sales hall, but we were in the games hall. So we did have a presence, but it was a bit in a slightly different place. Well, it wasn't. We were a bit out of the way, but I think it was obviously. That was mostly because I think we needed to have bigger tables than was originally planned, because games like ours.
My question is, did you see any famous YouTubers?
Oh yeah, I saw Louise Suggs, whatever her name is.
I saw Duncan Rhodes.
I saw famous YouTuber Nathan Allsop. He was there.
We saw the Hexperts. Actually, no, the Hexperts. Yeah,
we saw the
famous YouTubers. The Hexperts were present.
Yeah,
we saw equally famous websiter Mike from Tales of the Periphery.
Podcaster, Mike from Tales. He's more famous. He's got business cards. We don't have business cards. So anyway, get back onto where we were. So we got involved doing that. So it ended up with one of the locals, Nate's friend of the podcast, as Tom's mentioned earlier. He was running an event. Myself, I was running an event, and Tom was running an event, which we'll go through shortly. So we've just been planning to run the events and getting some events set up. And then basically the expo happened. So for us, what happened on the Thursday, as you probably gathered, what has to happen, you have to set up. There wasn't too much for us to set up because we mostly got kind of simpler gaming tables. We didn't have a big stand to set up. It was kind of game tables and the terrain for that, and so it wasn't too crazy. Most of the tables we'd kind of decided to be simpler or kind of box, or kind of the stuff that you get out of the box set, so it makes sense to someone just starting off. So it's quite easy to set up. So from that, then we then actually started playing games, running events on the Friday. So Friday, what do you reckon about Friday, Tom?
It was bloody war.
It was a war.
For some reason, they had not turned the AC
Friday,
on.
bloody Friday. That's what I say.
They had not turned the AC on, which meant that where we were, it was not too bad. But the moment you tried to leave and go around the place itself, you just cooked. It was so warm. I think that's
kind of what happened Friday. I gathered as well.
I bet it stank as well. Right?
No, I didn't think it was. I didn't find it.
It was not bad.
No, I think it was.
Did it not have a musk to it?
No.
No, it's actually quite surprising, to be fair, how much it didn't smell, but also like the absolutely humid atmosphere of that place is not conducive to the crowd it attracts.
Oh God, no! It's like your Discord moderators, basically, isn't it?
No.
No. It was like mostly normal people. There was a few Discord moderator people, I will say.
Okay,
But
and when we say Discord moderator people, we're not saying
moderate
they literally moderate Discord, because let's face it, some of our best friends are Discord moderators. What we're saying is the people that are like weird and unwashed. So if you are offended by the fact that we've just said Discord moderators, then have a bath, basically.
If you're offended, leave a like and a comment.
Let's stop carrying on offending people. So the Friday itself, surprisingly, I heard a lot of people saying it was quite busy. I think there was quite a footfall for Friday. I was expecting Friday to be quite quiet, but obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I think the footfall for the show was a lot bigger than it was previously, and also I think a lot of people were trying to get down the Friday to kind of get in and get any exclusives that might be on some of the stands. Obviously, we didn't have any exclusives, but I assume
I was about to say, Lewis,
we didn't have any exclusives this year.
This was part of our master plan. Catalyst's excellent master plan was have no exclusives present.
Then we don't have to worry about that happening. But obviously, there would have been some games that did have some exclusives that probably would have run out on that Friday, because there was quite a few people coming in. I was surprised at the turnout this Friday compared to previous ones. Obviously, we ran some games on Friday, which we'll kind of go through shortly, I suppose. Saturday, the busiest day at the expo, same as before. It is the busiest day. even coming in very early to get things set up, we were queuing up to get in. I'm sure you probably found similar things trying to get down as well, didn't you, Tom?
To be fair, no. I came on the train because I support public transport, so I got off the train and walked straight in.
Oh, but were the trains quite full?
Yeah, but I mean, I get the train to New Street, so it's always bloody full.
Cool.
You just doxed yourself so much there.
Yeah.
Oh no,
they're gonna come.
I live near Birmingham.
They're gonna come find him.
What will I do?
Yeah. And
sorry, guys. I'm sorry to disappoint everyone about my status of living in the area of Birmingham.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
Yeah. So
I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah, I think Saturday was just busier. If you are planning to go to the expo, just bear in mind Saturday is the busy day. Like, I think that's where you're going to see the most people, because it's when people are off work.
It makes sense. People are off work on the Saturday, and so they come down.
Yeah, so
you've got to book time off on the Friday. So we did, because we were all kind of expert, or not all of us, but those of us that did, we were down there to kind of think it out. And I would say, if you're going to come down, beware of Saturday. Obviously, if you can come down on the Friday, that's probably best, because it's when everyone's freshest. So
Yeah.
you're probably going to have the best experience.
But Sundays, I suppose you're about to get to, is definitely the chiller day. I think it's definitely.
That's what I was about to say. But should you not be able to come on the Friday, come on the Sunday, because everyone's a bit tired from the Saturday, sure. But I think that kind of leads to a little bit more of a laid back attitude. Not everyone's kind of rushing to do stuff. It's more a little bit more chilled out, which is
people have done what they want to do, and they're either gone or they're just taking it easy. I think Sunday's a nice day to kind of walk around. You might not get the exclusives you want to get, but if you're not too fussed about stuff like that and just want to have a bit more of a chill day, I think Sunday seems to be the day I think I'd probably recommend.
I obviously didn't go to the expo, but how was the sort of access for people? Obviously sometimes these kind of places can be a bit packed and busy. How was it in terms of wheelchair access? Any people with, disabilities, do they get special entry? Or
I can't comment, but I did see people, I think, on special access with wheelchairs and stuff, and obviously the NEC being like it is a national exhibition centre, so like it's designed for doing this. This is what it does. So like it's pretty. I
was just wondering about like table heights and stuff. If you are in a wheelchair, I imagine it's sometimes awkward for these.
I think a lot of them. I think there's a lot of tables I think are provided by the NEC or I suppose, and then sorted for by the team for the UK Games Expo. They have that kind of in mind. So I assume some of the stands might have their own tables, but I think a lot of them are set up to kind of deal with people sitting down. And they're not. I didn't see too many kind of stand up tables. It seemed to be sit down at a chair or obviously be at something like a wheelchair. I saw even some of the events that we were running as well. I think people in wheelchairs were able to attend and do things.
Yeah.
Although I think some of them might be a bit tight because I think we were a bit squeezed in on some of the events. Might try and relax that, I think, a little bit more next year.
Hopefully when we have a better idea about what hopefully we'll have a bit more space next year as well.
Cool. So that was just a quick rundown of like what the days are like, what to kind of expect down there, but what we were actually running at the event then. So there's a couple of there's a number of things running at the event. I'll quickly run through them, and then we'll go through some of the ones that we were involved with, or the bigger ones from that. So at the event there was Battletech Aces, which is an Alpha Strike kind of you against the AI opponents, not technically AI, it's a card-based opponent. That's using the Alpha Strike system currently. We got to have a sneak peek at that, and we got to run some missions, which was fun. And it was fun seeing how people played. I suppose I'll go through that properly a bit later on anyway. Then we had Trial of Position, which was a great event run by Tom L, who was running some games, kind of introing people into Alpha Strike, getting some mechs painted up with the people and playing some games. That event was aimed at the younger player, but I saw some adults got involved with that as well, which looked like quite a bit of fun. And I think had some funny times with some of the kids ganging up on some of the guys, just having a chill in the corner, playing the event. So that was actually pretty cool. And got some other events. We had Drafted for War, which we'll go through later. And then we've had the Battletech Mercenaries campaign, which Tom was running, which we'll go through as well. We did have some Fire on Demand events as well, some Alpha Strike. I think we had some. Did we have some classic Draft Fire on Demand as well? I know I ran some of the Alpha Strike ones, so I know we did some of them, but I don't know if we did classic. Or if we did, I didn't see it. And obviously involved with that as well, we had Leviathans, because obviously that's one of Catalyst games, and there was Shadowrun, although they weren't with us. I think they were in the Hilton Hotel, like the RPG section, I think, which was cool. I obviously didn't get too involved with that because they were quite far away from us, but they looked like sound like they had fun anyway, speaking to Barry, who organised that. But yeah, super. So we'll have a little talk about some of the events themselves. And so first one of those was Aces. Not the first one, they were happening at the same time, but first one we'll get to is Aces. As I said, it's you against the AI deck. It's quite a fun kind of system. I think a bunch of us got to play it in the end, demo agents, and obviously people playing. It worked quite well. Got to play against people who played that Alpha Strike before, and some people have never touched it before as well. The system worked quite well. It wasn't too complicated, so you could teach people Alpha Strike, could teach people Aces, and get a game in within that kind of period. And I think people got to have fun and got to have a good chunk of play with that. It was good seeing the actual system itself, how it works. The scenario we were using was basically 2 lances against a star of clan mechs raiding their base, which was a bit of fun. nice seeing how those mechs worked with their cards and how the system can be quite different and how it can be quite different each time you play because you can randomize those cards, and also how the system reacts to completely different players doing completely different things and it still copes with that. I was sad to see though that I think the clan mechs did lose a lot of the times when we played, but I gathered kind of this being one of the starting scenarios in the book. Well, I think it's designed that it's not supposed to. I don't think it's supposed to overpower you in that game because it's just trying to kind of be getting you used to playing the game. I gathered probably going forwards some of the missions would be a bit more challenging, but this one was kind of to get you in the swing of doing Alpha Strike and Aces. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We kind of ran that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just got involved with that, teaching people that. I thought I was quite impressed with it. I think I wasn't not going to get it, but like I'm keener to get it now, especially now I've seen it working. So I'd like to get my hands on that. I don't know you guys, because Tom, obviously you've been running that and you played it. Do you have any opinions on the ACES system or how you think the event went anyway?
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's really cool. I really do like it. It's definitely, best way to put this, it's definitely takes a little bit to get into, but once you're there, I think it's really good.
Get around the word ideal.
Yeah, there's just some small stuff that, like, yeah, ideal is just kind of odd.
I think once you get it, once you oh yeah, that's what it wants. It makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going to say. It's once you've got it, you know what's going on, but it's just a little bit weird, and I think that's just by they had to make it slightly odd.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make it bad. I think it's really good, and I know that the sentence that I've just said makes it sound like I don't like it. I do. It's just sometimes when we first did it, when we didn't really have much, like, because we've had to do it kind of before it's released, we don't really have much.
Can't go watch a video on how to play Aces.
Yeah, so we've kind of had to just like actually use our brains, and that's difficult.
I say that, but there are actually videos on how to play Aces, but we just didn't go. We didn't go and watch them. We probably should have done.
Are there?
I think the Six-Sided Gaming guys do them, which we probably should have watched them before. But I think I did watch one, but I think it's more. I have watched them, but I think it was more. I should have paid more attention to that ideal section. But now we get it. It makes sense. It's in the book, so if you do need to look it up, it's definitely in the book. You can read it, and it does make sense. It's just that I think it probably would have been useful to have on the the cheat sheet reference cards because it's so important. I say that it might be on there and I've completely missed it, and it might be actually it releases with that. I don't know, but what the stuff we had, it wasn't there. But it's in the book, so it's just more us being blind and then finding it, and it makes a lot more sense when you actually read it. Yeah, but it seems quite a fun system. Definitely looking forward to getting it. I'm a bit worried about what those mechs are going to do when they get some of those nasty mechs that are in the box under their control.
Interesting.
Oh, I don't want to be anywhere near anyone that has any of that. They're going to be awful.
Well, you better follow the restraining order now, because I'm going to have as many Krakens as possible.
Yeah,
I'm already done.
Yeah,
I'm already done.
There are. I think I know. Obviously, I think we did see the clans lose quite a few times, but I gathered obviously the kind of people that we're playing with at the event are there at Games Expo. They're kind of reasonably onboarded to playing war games or board games. So they've kind of got an idea of how systems work. So I think that might contribute to that as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I think they kind of, and also I think some of us were kind of hinting towards, obviously, if you've got a brawler, he probably wants to go and brawl and run at you. So like if you want to, you can lead him on if you want to a little bit, but watch out for some of the mechs, like some of the strikers, especially if they're fire moths, because they're going to get behind you and they're going to do a lot of damage.
From what I've seen and experienced of Aces, it seems if you take clan mechs against those clan mechs, those clan mechs just get melted because you just need to just focus fire one at a time and you just wipe them out.
Yeah. I think there's, it looks quite fun. I think I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Obviously, we're just using one of the scenarios, but hopefully at some point, hopefully this year maybe, we might get it in the UK and we can get some games in and actually have some fun with that. Main thing, obviously, for yourself, Tom, is you want to get that bridge. Bridge. So we might be running that again in the future. unless anything else comes along for Aces. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, really. Any other comments for Aces?
Pro Bridge.
Pro Bridge. I think Nathan's pro Bane free or Kraken free.
I'm pro Jade Falcon's IOTA Galaxy finally get the limelight they deserve.
The IOTA Galaxy. I think it was the Epsilon Galaxy.
No, they seem cream and green, so that's the IOTA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, have they done goofed? Have they done giggly goofed? Yeah.
It's Epsilon as far. It's Epsilon Galaxy.
Is it supposed to be Epsilon?
It is Epsilon Galaxy.
No, it's not supposed to be Epsilon.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's, that's why I'm been painting Epsilon Galaxy from a mechs from the.
I don't know. They didn't like on the Aces box. They didn't look green and black.
I've gone a bit more jade greeny than they are. They're kind of a lighter green. That green they are in the box is their box. It's green and black. It's kind of their colours.
Yeah, but on the box, well, no, they're not.
What?
Black. No, they are cream.
It's black. It's just very washed
It's
out.
a dress situation.
It's washed out. it's just quite a washed out black. It is
Blacking.
It is that. It's
gold.
it's supposed
White
to.
and gold, guys.
It's supposed to be black.
I think we need the Hexperts listeners to write in and tell us which Hexpert is hexpertly accurate.
I do actually have a way of just finishing this immediately. If you look on the leg of the Thunderbolt, it's an Epsilon. So, it's Epsilon Galaxy.
We'll come back to that.
No,
Anyway.
it's on the Thunderbolt. It's correct.
That's not actually an E. That's a sigma.
No, it's a Sigma. It's a Sigma, isn't it?
Sigma.
Yeah, I
It's
just
a
looked it
sigma.
up.
But anyway, we'll carry on to the break, and we'll come back with some more. We'll come back with your tech or law tech, and then we'll come back with some more from the event from the expo in a sec. So catch you guys on the flip side.
Hey guys, welcome back to everyone's favourite segment, Your Tech or Law Tech. This week, I think Lewis has been digging through our mail again, and he's found a user-submitted one, haven't you, Lewis?
Yes.
So-
Have you found Pepe Sylvia yet?
I don't know what that means. But yeah.
He's behind everything. He's
Okay.
behind everything, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll ignore that for now. We'll look into it later.
I've been.
No.
Yeah.
How about you go through the Your Tech or Law Tech?
Super duper. Well, I've been sent in one from Jedi Mech Warrior on Discord, who sends in the Battletech timeline the history divergent between Battletech and our real world timeline in the mid 80s. As such, Battletech universe had a World War III and an odd amalgamation of countries impact. Eventually, the Americans win this war versus the Russian alliance. When mankind spreads to the stars, united planets, it's an American-led coalition. Thus, the original Terran hegemony is a result of the American coalition winning World War III. Is this your tech or law tech?
Guys, if you're wondering, Lewis has been on the WKD show.
I have been on WKD.
The worst thing is, I literally talked about this in the first episode, and I cannot remember. I vaguely feel like this is a Your Tech.
Yeah, I'd go Your Tech.
I'm going to say...
Oh, no. Law Tech, because you got to remember it's an American company. So, of course, America wins World War III.
I just can't remember if there is a World War III.
I'm going to say Your Tech.
Your tech.
Ooh.
So, in fact, it was a law tech. So Nathan was correct, and Dom and Tom were wrong. Sorry, I read that. I read that out quite badly. Basically, it was there was World War III. The Americans won, and it means the Americans led the Earth to space. Probably
I
could
do like the actual layout of that would be though, like who America eventually allied with.
I'm sure it's actually in the books. It's probably in the book somewhere telling you that.
I'll have to have a look later.
Yeah, I've not got far enough in to go and start digging that far back.
Yeah, actually, guys, I'm still at 1950. I haven't got to that bit in the law yet. Could you not post spoilers, guys?
I'm sorry, guys.
I'd appreciate if you didn't post spoilers. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, thank you very much, Jenna McRae, for sending that in. Apologies for butchering what you've said, the reading that out. But thank you.
Well, I feel like I've got an eggy face now.
You've always got an eggy face, Tom.
He's got an eggy bum. I heard.
Oh God. Okay, let's move to break. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. We're back after the break.
Oh my god.
Welcome back, guys. So we're gonna...
Wait a minute.
What?
Where's Mod gone?
Well, what do you mean? Oh, Dom's fallen asleep, hasn't he?
Mod went back to his mirror
Yeah.
dimension.
We've banished him. Yeah.
He's Dr. Pepper. His Diet Dr. Pepper's not worked. We need to give.
Well, no, actually, Mod likes full fat Coke. Sorry, so
That
we had to.
That actually keeps you awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do some incantations, and he is now back to the Shadow Realm where he belongs.
Cool.
But unfortunately, we are going to have to. Dom was unfortunately put to sleep in the incident, so we're going to have to continue without him.
It's fine. He'll be back next time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to talking about some of the stuff from the expo. So next kind of event we'll talk about is let's have a little talk about Mercenaries. And Tom, you did Mercenaries. What happened with Mercenaries?
I did do Mercenaries. So Mercenaries, we wanted to do something cool. So Arthur and I got our brains together and worked out that actually wouldn't it be really cool if we could get something from the new book? Yeah, that'd be sick. So what I managed to do was leverage Arthur's amazing knowledge of people in Battletech, and then got a 3-month contract for Zosha 7 from Catalyst, which I was really appreciative of. I tried to do my best to represent it in the kind of most, in the most truest light possible, because I know there was some talk about whether I wanted to do any changes to the missions beforehand, and my opinion was that, if I'm saying that I'm going to be showing off the new Zosha 7 contracts, what I should do is, show off the Zosha 7 contracts. Don't show off like Tom's version of them. It should be, for better or for worse. I thought they were pretty cool, but I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. But yeah, overall, I think it went really well. It's the first time Mercs has been run in a tournament or in any format, really, at an expo, because obviously it's quite new, and it's gone so well that I hope in the future I get to do it again. I've learned a lot from it, but it was definitely a really cool experience. Now I know, Lewis, I did kind of grab you to help me.
I did try.
But,
I did try.
But it was a super interesting experience. It was a 3-month contract, 3 missions, and there were some small tweaks that I had to make to the scoring system, just because it was, Mercs doesn't really work in a single day, unfortunately. It's more of a kind of, what's the best way?
You need to, if you're playing Mercenaries properly,
Prolonged campaign system.
Yeah, a prolonged campaign system over multiple weeks where you can do stuff in between tracks.
It's more if you get like mechs and things. And obviously,
Yeah,
if you get,
yeah, you need time.
You can go and get those mechs and paint them up. Whereas obviously, if you've got to do 3 games in a row, then you can't really do that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we are, and what was cool was I think everyone really got into that, which was fun. We had some, it was a tournament at the end of the day. I'm more of an event organizer than like a proper tournament organizer.
Yeah,
I'm not a TO. I'm an EO at the end of the day, but I think I did a decent job. Hopefully, no one wanted to kill me at the end of it, so I think I did all right.
I want to kill you, but that's just.
Well, Nathan might. I mean,
Nathan wants you to fix the event. Nathan wanted all the trophies.
Yeah, Nathan did not win. Spoilers, but
What a shock.
Cool.
What a shock. But yeah, so I think it went all right. So I'm rambling a little bit because it's and you've got so much to speak about. On something, and you have quite a few ideas, and you're like, where do I start? And then you just don't start with any of them.
So, Tom, to allow you to gather your thoughts a bit and to get things started, how about I go over my force?
So, that sounds like an excellent idea.
So, as you may or may not know, listeners, whenever you do the Mercenaries campaign, you go through the scale system. Scale 1, scale 2 and just to infinity. But we're doing scale 1, which is 1 map sheet, usually, or 2 map sheets if you really want to, 3,000 points, and 2 mechs. So, as you know from previous episodes talking about hobbies, I've had disastrous attempts at trying to run clans. And I've had okay attempts at trying to run Innisphere. So obviously, and as you know from the Instagram, Gallus had to take the board. So I had a Grasshopper 6k, and that is the five medium pulse laser, 1 large pulse laser, a Shriek SRM, and a C3 slave, which I didn't use obviously because that's
All I'm saying is,
What?
I'm so happy I was not part of this event
why.
because that's disgusting.
And then just to be a cheeky little chappy, I also ran the Wraith TR1, which is the 2 medium pulse, 1 large pulse variant of them.
He's a solid guy, though, right? That Wraith. So two solid backs there, really, Nathan.
Yeah, 2 solid pulsey mechs, and I was going into it feeling chuffed. I was like, I'll take a Demolisher as my BSPs because you get 32 BSPs base plus 1 for every 20 points that you're under.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are battlefield support points, which basically replace most infantry and most tanks in the mercenary campaign. And I was like, yeah, I'll take a Demolisher. And then I realised something when I got there. Airstrikes were allowed. So locally, we've had it where every single time we'd either take anti-airstrike or airstrike. So we were like, you know what, just no airstrikes, we'll use the tanks, we'll use the turrets. But seeing that there wasn't a ban against airstrikes, I decided to take some heavy bombings and an it was a heavy anti-air. But yeah, that was my list.
So the Demolisher,
Two-
the Demolisher didn't even get to go on the battlefield, then, Nathan.
No.
Poor Demolisher.
He was really wanting to go on it, but you know, I can't risk it when people can just do like 40 odd damage to a mech instantly and just wipe it off the board.
Oh, so you thought you'd do that instead? I see.
Yeah,
I see. I know what kind of man you are.
Cool. So
yeah, it's literally like a game of top trumps. It's just like, I'll play this one. Oh, mine beats you. Oh, I'll play this one. Mine beats you, and then you have no BSPs left for the rest of the game, and it's just slugging it out.
cool.
So yeah,
Do you want to talk for your games then, Nathan, or
I think we should go round by round. Tom introduces them. I talk about how my experience was, and then we just go from there. And
Cool.
Tom talks about, like,
go for it?
if you can remember, the overall scoring. So yeah.
Yeah,
let's
okie
go.
dokie. So, round 1 was a pretty simple recon mission. The Federated Sons were tasked with working out. So the idea, the premise behind it is the Cretans are attacking Zosha 7, and the Federated Sons have basically gone, "Ooh, I need you to work out what's going on." So the Fed Sons players were told, "Recon the Cretans," and I thought this was. It kind of went the way I expected it, to be honest. Some things happened, which we'll talk about in a bit, but to a greater or lesser degree, I thought the Fed Sons were going to kind of take the field, and they did to a pretty, standard degree. Nathan, you were a Cretan player, were you not?
Oh, absolutely. I was for the dragon all the way.
For the dragon. Now, this obviously is terrible news for those of you that have standards, but
Oh,
I can only. That is actually very rude. That's rude to all the Cretan players. I'm sorry, that was rude of me.
no, that's rude to all the people who don't have standards, comparing them to Karita players. Come on, guys.
Oh, true. Anyway, how did you find the first game?
So-
Because I think you won, didn't you? That first game.
Oh yeah. So I was playing against a filthy Fed rat who had a crab and Griffin, and he was really BSP heavy. He was taking a lot of air support, and I think he also took a tank. But what ended up happening is I tried to charge in, staying 2 hexes away, as it was required to be within 2 to scan, and I just tried to pull them away and just beat up the crab, and finally got to a point where I got caught out with my grasshopper. He'd already taken a wound to one of the torsos, going internal, which is really expensive, and as Tom will explain, with the pointing system, very costly to try and get to the top. And my grasshopper just decided, he's doing something weird, he's not shooting at me, and then just blasted him with all his weapons, performing a very lovely pulse alpha strike. Luckily, being able to hit hit him in the head. The turn before that with the large, and then that turn with a medium, taking out the crab. And as the noble men we are of Gallus and of the Combine, we allowed his other mech to leave the battlefield, which allowed him to net, I believe it's 100 points, and then 50 for kill it, or for getting internal on a guy.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. So
I left with 250 from the game bonuses and 250 from winning the game.
yeah. So basically, the way we've done scoring is everyone started with 1,000 support points, and this was basically to represent just like what you'd start with. So it was functionally it was so players had something to dip into if their mates got really banged up in the first game. Hopefully, you obviously higher numbers means better, and so basically you would add the score of your objectives up, and then you would work out. So the person with the points on the objectives won the mission. If you won the mission and completed something called an order objective, which is a new objective for Draconis Reach, it's like a type of objective that you have to complete. If you won the mission and you completed the objective, you got 250 points as well. So it was kind of like but you did have to dip into these points if you wanted to do repairs or rearms. So the idea was that it was kind of a more movable feast. So people had to, like, sometimes the best thing to do was not get internaled on your grasshopper, as Nathan unfortunately managed to in all 3 games. But it was kind of, you had to balance getting points from the objectives with trying to keep your mech safe, so you weren't having to shell out 200 BV on an internal repair. I thought the system worked well, but I've definitely learned things that would allow me to refine it in the future, which I will be doing.
But yeah, shall we move on to Mission 2?
Mission 2, which was the truck mission. That mission with the trucks. So Mission 2 was a breakthrough mission where the Federated Suns players were trying to get across the board. So it was a standard breakthrough mission, but a sort of a secondary kind of like little bit of spice was that the Federated Suns players had 4 trucks. These were mash trucks, which had the mash removed, so it was mashless trucks. Very sad for those of you that are potato lovers. Unmashed trucks. So the idea was that they basically had to get these supply trucks through, and they were trying to relieve the siege. Now, this game kind of didn't go the way I expected it. I was very much of the opinion that the first game would be pro Edson, and the second game would definitely be pro Draconis player. Now, this did not seem to be the case, and I was really surprised about this, because I was like, what caused this? Because the Draconis players said that they felt as though they couldn't kind of achieve their objectives, and I was thinking, well, you just have to kill the trucks, and then you have to kill a mech. How hard can it be? Played it on Thursday against Nate, got my ass kicked. So turns out either everyone involved had a skill issue, or that mission needs a little bit of looking up. But
it might make more sense if you played on a different scale, because scale 1, obviously killing a mech is half their force, and if you spent quite a chunk of your turns trying to take out mash trucks, then I think taking out half their force with the same amount of BV you've got can be difficult.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where and you kind of say, how hard can this be, and then you try it and you're like, whoa, this is actually kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Although Nathan, I think you won this game as well, didn't you? So I think
I was either the only one or one of the only ones to actually win this game outright. We did do some things in the mash with how many mash trucks were being destroyed and getting through, but for actually winning the mission, was I the only one, or was there 2 others?
I think you and Faux Nick or Doug was the other one to win.
Yeah, me and Liquid Nick. So how it happened is that I was against Wraith TR1. What a shock!
What a shock!
And was it the Hachimoto? The proper samurai mech with the sword.
Hachimoto Chi.
Hachimoto Chi being ran as an Axeman, which you can see on the Catless Games page. So how that game went is I said, I'm not getting near that Hachimoto at all. I'm running away from it. So it was just him and the grasshopper trading blows. And I decided to just dance around the Wraith and shoot the Hachimoto as well. But also focus on one mash truck to try and get one down at least. And what happened is first turn, it made it save. Second turn, it made it save. Third turn, it made it save. And on the fourth turn, his Wraith was off the board. The Hachimoto was one hex away, facing the edge of the board. My grasshopper went behind him. And the Wraith, my Wraith, jumped in between three of them, two uninjured and one completely fine. Mash truck. And the grasshopper managed to headshot the Hachimoto to death again. So he's got two headshot kills this weekend.
I think those dice,
the
those are
Wraith,
weighted dice.
Yeah, I did not put them in the UK Games Expo toilets to test them. So we'll never know. And then the Wraith literally just spun in the spot and just went one large into you, a medium into you, a medium into you. Managed to hit all three, and the damaged truck went down, an uninjured truck went down, and the other one saved it. So I managed to take out the Hachimoto and two of the trucks, succeeding in my mission before the rest drove off the map.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that would be a victory for you.
And it would have been even more of a victory if my grasshopper, once again, didn't get internaled.
But it did. Because that's just how the grasshopper works. So that was a cool game. It didn't go the way I thought. It was very much a FedCom victory, or FedSun's victory. Sorry, not FedCom. FedSun's victory, which was slightly odd and confused me slightly. And I think that's kind of what it's something I need to look at to just see whether it was, composition players not being very, whether it was people not kind of getting the mission, and whether that was just it was a difficult mission for one side, or I hadn't explained it properly.
There's a lot of words to read. Too many words.
There is a lot of words to read. So you just see kind of what caused that. Anyway, the third mission, based on how many mash trucks you got through, was how you decided the missions. And the third mission, because out of the 24 mash trucks on the 6 tables, 2 got through.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so the mash trucks did actually just get absolutely destroyed, but it was, it did not lead
sorry,
to...
guys. Sorry, guys. I let 2 in. I do apologise.
Whoops.
Oh, well.
So you played the Kuritan ending mission, which was a meeting engagement. So the Federated Sons had been basically starved out and had to, come and do a full frontal attack.
Well, some of them got some potatoes, though. A couple of potatoes.
Like 2 potatoes.
Non-mashed potatoes, obviously, because it's not mashed.
Yes. So a couple of potatoes. So that was pretty cool. Nathan, how was your final game?
So I played
Sam.
Sam, who had a Valkyrie and a Mauler.
Yeah, it was a Valkyrie Sin, a Mauler 4R. The only reason I know this is because it was spoilers. He was the winner of the tournament.
What?
So I did. I know we're jumping around a little bit.
So from what I've heard, his Mauler had just not been hit the entire time. And because a lot of these missions relied on you taking out half the force, or even a third of the force, and the Valkyrie seed did not count as that much. Which, I'll be honest, I don't usually get competitive, but when I go into tournaments being like, oh, well, whatever happens. But if I get within inches of winning, I will just double check to be sure the result that makes me lose is correct. And that all honours goes to the person who beat me, which he absolutely does in this game, because he had a Mauler with precision, with 4 precision AC5s, 2 clan large lasers?
I think so, yeah.
And then 2 LRM50s, and I gotta say that Mauler was hard to move. So meeting engagement, almost turn 2 or 3, I managed to cripple his Valkyrie, but obviously that wasn't a third of the points. It's 900, and the Mauler's 2,000-ish.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
like 2050. It's like just a smidge over $2,000.
So it was a proper scrap against the Mauler, just ducking and weaving for the most part. And this was actually when my air shocks actually paid off. So the air shocks pretty much crippled the Valkyrie turn one.
Yeah,
And
they
then
do
just
that.
Yeah. And at the end of the game, it was my Grasshopper who, to be fair, hadn't really been touched. He got one hit to the head, and that was it. And I thought, you know what, I need to hit these to be able to get this mech to fall over. And I also had my Wraith behind him, ready to kick him. And what ended up happening is that I stood my Grasshopper completely still right in front, like a hex away from his, and we just traded blows. I got overall that turn, I think 40 damage on the Mauler, and you need like an 8 to stand up.
Yeah.
Anything more, and he would have fallen over. I know you need I hit him in the head, and he needed a 5+ to stay up because he also got hit in the head, and he made the 5+, and then he had to make a PSR on an 8+, and he made the 8+, and let's just say the Grasshopper did not have a cockpit by the end of the turn.
Yeah.
It just got fully domed by the Mauler.
So
I think it was the large laser that got him.
You got a taste of your own medicine there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't headshot everyone to death without getting headshotted.
Yeah, those who live by the sword die by the sword, Nathan, I'm afraid.
Those who live by the headshot die by the headshot.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was an absolutely great way to end the event, to be fair. Even if I did come fifth, it was just a good event, to be fair. It was fun.
Looked like a bunch of fun, and got some really cool trophies as well, which I'm sure you probably... They're on the socials, aren't they? I think not on our socials.
Yeah. I was really wanting that Marauder 2, though, to be fair.
Did anyone go for that in the end? I think it's just Nathan that wanted that.
I think the 3 that went were a Highlander, a Dragonfire, and a Hatamoto Chi.
So those
were the 3 that I thought people would want.
Yeah. So those were trophies in the same size as the Kickstarter backer, larger Mad Cat. They're the same kind of scale as that.
Double size,
yeah,
wasn't it?
It's a certain. It's whatever size that mech is from your Kickstarter or from the Kickstarter. Those mechs were made into the same scale, so they'll look pretty cool on the shelf with one of those if you have one, or they'll just look cool on the shelf anyway.
I'm just imagining, to add a insult to injury, like drafted 4, no one picked it, and then it's just Arthur like sliding it off a plate into the bin out the back.
I don't think it's going into a bin. I'm sure it's if not already gone somewhere, it'd be used somewhere. It won't be in the bin. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's a funny image to think about.
Yeah, your prize is just in the bin there.
Oh yeah, Tom.
Yes.
How about you announce the winners and just go over how you felt overall about the whole event?
As for winners, the winner was Sam. Woo! I can't remember the other 2 guys, but they came in 2nd and 3rd. I'm so sorry. My memory is awful.
We need to write these things down. Well. It has been a couple weeks.
I was asking both of these 2 for the first 2 opponents that I played, and they just... You could not remember.
Yeah, I think
we all do apologise on.
Yeah, we
our own behalves.
Yeah, we should have remembered more, but I think we were talking with so many people.
Yeah, to be fair, the whole weekend was just a blur. I was talking with so many people. I forgot, unfortunately. Although what I will say though is that the Mauler was insane.
Yeah,
that was a crazy mech, and it's made me want to paint mine.
Yeah, it's nice to see a variant that's obviously available in the time period and is relatively useful as well, because it's a cool model. It's a shame for it to be usually it's relegated to don't run one of those.
Well, that's mainly because I went for they pretty much did a blackjack to it where anything in the era it was introduced, it's like, oh yeah, it has IC2s, and then it actually becomes useful and gets decent autocannons.
Yeah, I guess it's the light autocannons that one gets. I think it's got the clan LRMs as well, hasn't it? So you can get it if you can get people's faces as well. Whereas the other one, if you get in its face, it's going to stop working, which doesn't really help it.
Well, I mean, it's going to stop working to begin with, Lewis.
Yeah,
It doesn't get any better.
yeah. But
Yeah, it was cool. I had a load of fun with it. Everyone that I talked to seemed to have a load of fun with it, which is good. It works as a proof of concept, so I think we'll see a lot more in the future. So we'll just have to see where this goes. But yeah, so we'll just have to see in the future, where this goes. I think it's good. Obviously, the open format. We've talked. I haven't talked to the podcast at length about the open format, but we've had some conversations, and I think it's agreed basically that the open format is the best for tournaments. And I'm hoping to move forward that I'll be able to run this as, or me. It's not just me. I'm not the only person that can
lean it. You can lean it away from tournaments more towards a narrative event, with some of the benefits that will entail as well. Hopefully, relax people coming down. I mean, that's not the only event that was there that people could play Classic on.
So perfect.
Cool. But yeah, I was going to say, obviously, I was involved with helping out. I couldn't help out too much. Just helping out where I could do. But pretty much I was quite impressed with the different varieties of mechs involved. I quite enjoyed seeing it. Some mechs I'd not even seen on tabletop before, which was impressive.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just all night skies and wraiths. There was a couple of wraiths, looking at Nathan. But obviously, like you said, you don't generally see maulers winning events. They're not usually the one that you hear about winning events. But there was a bunch of fun mechs, some fun vehicles and stuff as well with the BSPs. I think.
Yeah, I would absolutely like to say thank you to you guys, Arthur, Mike, Nate, all of the demo team for pulling together and running this little event area for everyone. It was really appreciated. And I know some people in Catalyst probably listen to us at this point, but if there is any official Catalyst events in the UK, I will definitely be coming to them.
Cool. But yeah, I think, any more takeaways, Tom?
Yeah, just a bit of learning, to be fair, just on how to run sort of 12 people through 3 missions. I know nothing sort of crazy for the podcast, but just how I can refine my kind of abilities, really. So, when I do it again, I'll just do it better.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep doing it better, hopefully, until it's perfect. But it's just learning.
Cool. I think the biggest thing I gathered during this, as well as we've kind of seen locally as well, is that I think airstrikes are still something that you kind of need to either have a gentleman's agreement on, or maybe need a bit of restriction. I don't know if.
I just think the way to fix airstrikes is just include the TMM into the targeting data. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, but the problem is that's not how it is.
Yeah.
Or just like add.
They're designed to take out things like fire moths to stop people just taking insanely high TMM mechs, but also they're just very good.
Like every 2 TMM you add 1 to the roll, maybe.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of events restrict the airstrikes to 2 per game, which I don't know if that would have worked, but it might help a little bit.
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll have to try some out. I think we probably need to run some. We'll see how things kind of carry on, and we'll see what other events that use the system kind of get on with. Cool. But yeah, is there anything more to talk about on the Mercs event?
No. How about we move on to the other event that was run that weekend, Drafted for War?
Which was a very cool looking event. I think none of us actually were involved with running or playing, so we've not really got a kind of hands-on kind of point of view from it. But from the people playing, they looked like they had a good time. I didn't hear a bad thing about it. I know Ian played it; he seemed to have a good time with it. But this event was an Alpha Strike event. It's Drafted for War, so you probably gather it's some sort of drafted system. What you kind of did at this event was you I don't know if you kind of picked up or you were assigned 3 boxes. You opened these boxes, you saw what you got, you kept one of those, passed you the 2 boxes on, And then obviously you got 2 new boxes. You kept one of those boxes, and then you handed on the last one, and then you got one, and the one that you get you keep. So you've got 3 boxes there, and you need to then build up to, was it 150 PV for this one? I can't remember the actual PV
I
total.
think it was 130.
130, yeah.
Oh, drafted for war like a draft
Yes,
system.
see, he gets it. He gets it now.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. I think this year as well, because obviously I think mercenaries boxes are quite hard to get. We had some vehicles as well as some legendary mech warrior boxes, which I think actually made it a little bit more interesting as well. So you had some vehicles as well as mechs in the kind of round up there on some of them anyway. So people had to make 135 points, but they could make that. You kind of made that by kind of upskilling and deskilling mechs. So that kind of changed that around a little bit. And people kind of made a force from there. So you kind of, if you had some big mechs, you might need to make them skill 8 or something to kind of get them to fit in. Or if you've got some smaller mechs, you might need to skill them up to skill 1 or something to kind of balance it out. But it's not a lot of points in 135. So I think people had to figure out how to squeeze the kind of forces in. And then people then played a tournament. And I think the idea was these tournaments were quite small tables and it's supposed to be quite quick games. I think they was it 3 rounds they ran, and basically you kind of just tried to kill each other, get across the other side of the table, or hold certain objectives, and pretty much just kind of have at it against each other. Like I said, we didn't get too involved because we were running other things there, but it looks like people were having fun blowing each other up with Alpha Strike. I saw some fun stuff. I think Tom's son was using one of them. He got a mass truck and LRM carry, and he's using the mass truck as a spotter for the LRM carry, which I thought was funny. So yeah, I think people were having fun with that. And obviously, a big takeaway from that event is that you got to keep your force at the end of it. So whatever you kind of played with, you took away with you, and that they had some trophies similar to the mercenaries event as well. But yeah, it looked pretty fun. If we weren't running stuff, I think it's something I think I would have liked to get involved in, even just to get the mechs.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, we actually had to do things with our time, which was terrible.
We had to run events. We couldn't play games, but it did look like fun. I didn't see people getting to have any issues with it. Really, it seems to be just a bunch of fun and getting some mechs. Well, it seems to be that. I think it's run well enough that it's probably going to be run again if the expo comes again next year, as far as I'm aware. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Anything more to say on that? So we've struggled a little bit because we saw it from kind of a table across.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to run it. I was busy helping you with aces, and then Mercs really took up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I think that was.
But as far as I'm aware, people really enjoyed it, and I think it's a cool system. It's just obviously getting the stuff for it that can be a bit difficult sometimes.
I think especially now, but hopefully next year be a bit easier getting all the boxes. But yeah, but that was a friend of the podcast, Nate, who ran that anyway. So good job running that anyway, Nate. It seems to be everyone had fun and it all looked really nice on the table as well. Cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the events. Like I said, there were some other events going on which we kind of glossed over. Some of it we kind of glossed over because we weren't involved with running them. And some of them, the ideas they were quite simple because they were kind of demos, or kind of, they're not technically demos. They were kind of intros for people, so like they weren't too elaborate or complicated. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the event. Anything to wrap up with there? Any Tom or Nathan? Anything you want to say before we close on up about the expo? No,
nothing from me. No,
cool. Well, no. Well, I say I'd hopefully we can. Well, obviously, hopefully, Catalyst might be there next year. And I assume the demo team will be regardless. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if we are back again next year, I think we would hopefully be bigger, better, and have some more fun stuff going on.
One thing I did really hope for was that there would be at least some kind of Battletech stock at the expo, full stop. But after sniffing around we sniffed around the Asmodee stall and all, and it's just like a wasteland of Battletech.
Yeah,
it's not what you must do.
I gathered that the stock is selling so well that whatever there is which there isn't a lot in the UK at the moment for numerous reasons, that it gets snaffled up quite quickly. So it's a good sign that people are. I know during the event people come up and asking us for where can I get some stuff, where can I buy it, and it's more we had to just say, oh, sorry, but you probably isn't a lot for you to pick up currently or this year, but maybe later in the year or next year when we come back around again. But yeah, I think this year was a bit sparse on products, but I think everywhere is sparse at the moment.
Absolutely.
As you can hear, the various overlords of Battletech, people are gagging for your product, but they are not receiving. They wish to be able to buy as many urban mechs as possible and mech lambs.
Yeah.
It's not flooding the streets with them yet, so...
Well, hopefully I've gathered that stuff is on the way. Is being manufactured.
It should be on the way.
I gather manufacturing's getting back up to where it was. I think it's just with all the stuff going on in the world that there was a bit of a lull, and obviously the game's popular. So if there's stock in the US and it's all sold out, then there's not going to be a lot that's going to get across to us. Yes, which is fine. So hopefully next year, bigger, better, and more stock. Basically, that's what we'd like.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see if that happens. But yeah. Well, that's pretty much our wrap up of the expo. As Tom said, great meeting a bunch of people. Surprised anyone knew who we were still. And great chat.
It's insane.
Great chat to people. Great chat to the demo team. And obviously, apologies that Tom and Nathan don't know anyone's names. I'm going to give them a piece of paper next time so they can write people's names down. All right.
Well,
yeah.
You see, there was a piece of paper with everyone's names down and who they were playing.
Yeah.
But seem to have got lost in the wash.
But Tom had that. we can blame Tom. We can blame Tom.
I mean, after what you did to my urban mech, I don't know if I can trust him with pieces of paper. Too fragile.
Don't trust him with anything.
I do not like where you're going with this, good sir.
Anyway, we're going to pop to a break, guys, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back after the break, and we're back with the best segment, Mech of the Week, with the best mech, which has been waiting for its Mech of the Week for so long. So this week we're going to be talking about the dragon. Probably should have been talking about the mauler. Maybe we'll do the mauler next time. But yes, anyway, the dragon. Everyone loves the dragon. Dragon itself, first produced Luthien Armworks in 2754, designed to try and replace the Shadowhawk within the SLDF. This, however, did not come to fruition as the SLDF decided to update the Shadowhawk instead, which I'm sure...
What a terrible decision.
I'm sure Tom's banging his head against the wall. He's like, what? I hate it. Nathan hates it. But I think lore-wise, it's obviously the Dragon's good, but the Shadowhawk's got the jump jets, which make it a bit more utilitarian, maybe practical.
Oh, no, Lewis. It's like going from the Shadowhawk to the Dragon is like stubbing your toe and then smacking your head. It's like neither is good, but both is.
Please stop being mean to the Dragon. Oh, let me carry on and give you some more of his story, so you learn to love this beautiful being. Anyway, very surprising, as this is a heavy mech. It is fast for its class, well armored, and doesn't overheat. And is reasonably well armed for the time it was produced, maybe not so much now. It's also noted as being quite squat, so obviously its silhouette is a little bit lower, and so it doesn't get hit as much as maybe a mech that's standing up with more of a human shape, so it's hard to hit the head. However, the Dragons were noted for having problems with their hip actuators that need frequent maintenance and overhaul. This mech was picked, maybe not surprisingly, by factories because where the factories were by the Draconis Combine, who made it their main heavy battle mech, and it was pumped out en masse until it was replaced by the Grand Dragon. This mech is a very combined mech, as it wants to get in your face very fast. It's even noted as having armor around the autocannon, so it can start clubbing you with it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so the standard Dragon itself. Nathan, do you want to run through the specs?
Well, it says 60-ton light mech. I mean, I can't agree with that. I think it's more heavy.
Did you change that, or was Tom changed? Did I change that?
You changed that. It's a 60-ton mech.
It's a heavy mech.
It's got an Alshane type 50-60H chassis It's got a Vlar 300 engine that lets it run up to 86 kilometers now, 53 miles per hour, or the last 5 of them have had that speed. You probably know it's 8 hexes. It's got a Telos Deca cluster, LRM-10 launcher in its nose/tummy. And it has an
Tummy.
Imperious A autocannon 5.
That's what it is.
Is that it? In its right arm, it's got 2 Victory 23R medium lasers, one in the rear torso and one under its left arm. It's got 10 heat sinks. It's 1.125k BV in BV2, and it is 5,036,800 C-bills. Build one of these.
Perfect mech. And I think the Vlar 300 engine is a renowned good engine.
I think also
yeah.
Cannon 5 is a mistake.
No, it's
I
not.
wonder why Tom doesn't like the dragon.
It's a good mech. Leave it alone.
Because it doesn't have a rack 5, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just like oh, I want to shoot you something. Oh, what have you got? Oh, an AC5. Why?
Well,
It's
how about
worthless.
we see if that firepower has improved throughout its multiple variants?
Yeah, there's
No.
so many.
It doesn't. Starting off with the variants, we're going to look at the Dragon 1C. For some reason, this replaces the AC5 with a longer range AC2 and adds 3 tons of armor protection. This allows the Dragon to have an even further direct fire reach while reducing the direct fire capability at range by 60%.
Yeah.
Now, this is slightly misleading because you would imagine a 60% reduction would still allow it to have some fire capability, but that is 5 damage down to 2, so it is a plink versus spitting at someone's face.
You might get that crit.
Now-
You might get that crit, Tom.
Oh, what joy! And also for that thingy, you also add 100 BV because it's 1215 BV. This is
Jesus.
literally a pointless mech. I'm not going to be impartial with this one because I just don't make it make sense.
Somewhere out there, someone loves this mech.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's not the
They're gonna-
Hexperts podcast.
We're then going to go for the next variant, which is the DRG-5N, which is a bridge between the Dragon and the Grand Dragon. So this is a field upgrade, which is formerly Lost Technology, so it's a Lost Tech one. It adds an Ultra AC5, which is capable of firing twice the rate of a standard model, and additionally, the rear-facing medium laser has been removed. Now, for 100 BV, which is 1223, this actually is still bad, but not terrible. The problem with this is that you're just causing more problems with the 10 single heat sinks that it has.
Yeah. I don't.
It sucks to suck.
I don't. Oh yeah. Maybe it does.
Oh,
So-
we're then going to get another cool dragon variant, the 5NR, which is a simple refit used during the jihad. It mounts a C3 slave on the torso and a second arm mounted laser and returns the rear firing laser whilst replacing the autocannon with a light autocannon 5, and that's 1,277. The Draconis Combine just needs to put this in the bin and just leave it.
It's not a bad kind of mech for getting into
It just needs to go back to the Gladiator. That's what they need to
It's
do.
not bad for getting to the C3 range though. It's not like it's going to get shot off the board if it's going to be in short range. But I suppose for that,
Yeah, but Lewis,
for that kind of
Lewis,
BV though, maybe yeah.
I will make a second point on this one. If you are introducing this into a C3 lance, you're not paying 1277.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
That's a disingenuous number because you're paying, if you're in a properly C3 lance, you're paying 20% on top of that.
yeah.
So you're pushing 1600 for what is effectively an AC5.
Yeah, it's not the most scary load out there, I suppose. Is there anything?
But I mean, I can get an awesome for that kind of cost.
True. Is there anything else going forward, Tom?
We got one more where there is a use case here, which is a Civil War mech, which is the 7N. This is the only one that is slightly useful. which has a Gauss rifle in the right arm and an AC-5 in the left arm, with a traditional medium laser in the left torso, which now is firing forward, and an MRM-10 launcher in place of the LRM. However, this is powered by an XL engine, and its ammunition stores of 16 Gauss slugs, 20 rounds of autocannon fire, and 24 missile salvos are all stored in the right torso, which are, for some reason, protected by case. I say for some reason because Dragon pilots love having ammunition under their seats in traditional variants.
And Dragon pilots and the Draconis Combines seem to like having their case-protected ammo torsos, also having 3 engine crit slots in the.
That's XL engines for you.
At least the pilot will be protected there because the right torso will stop the Gauss rifle blowing up and into the ammo. So
but still, it's not. It's like
technically, it does work technically.
I mean, this is an improvement, but what is their? I'm going to say, what's their obsession with AC-5s?
Yeah,
they were like, oh, we're going to remove the AC-5 and add a Gauss rifle, but that medium laser is now an AC-5. So any of the benefits you had by removing the AC-5, which is a notoriously heavy weapon for its damage, have just been negated. It's like, oh, cool, man.
I'm quite okay with that, to be honest. I mean,
you
want. Get some ammo on there. You sorted.
No. You take the AC-5 out, right? Okay, it's Civil War era. This is how you fix the 7N. You take the AC-5 out. You've already saved like 7 tons because it's insanely heavy. You drop the MRM for an SRM 6, and then you add heat sinks and medium lasers, and that's how you fix it. Or if you wanted to,
I know how you really fix it.
Like just run something else that's not a dragon.
How you really fix it is that seeing that you can obviously change a Gauss rifle for an AC-5. You just put another Gauss rifle in the other hand.
Oh, true. Double Gauss rifle. That's how you fix it, guys. You heard it here first on the Hexperts.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. Taisho Frank Reynolds loves his double Gauss dragon.
Nathan special there with the double Gauss dragon. But yeah, obviously we were talked about earlier the Grand Dragon. Technically and visually very, very similar mech, quite similar loadouts.
So similar, I often run a dragon as a Grand Dragon because it's the only way that the dragon model ever get a run out in my lists.
And all the artwork looks exactly the same.
Oh, it's identical,
Excuse me, guys. There is technically another medium laser on the Grand Dragon model, which we will be getting in plastic at some point in the nearish future.
I'm sorry, Lewis. I did actually convert mine to have a second medium laser.
That is impressive.
Sucks to suck.
I'm impressed with that. However, the coordinator has deemed the Grand Dragon to be a completely different design, so we will not talk about that mech here because it is not related to it at all. Because they're completely different and separate. All they do look very similar.
Yeah.
And
when we do mech in the week, we're going to do next week's going to be the Grand Dragon. Then after that, it's going to be the Katana, and then the next one after that's going to be the Crockett.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do the Deboku, and then we're going to do the Mauler, and then we're going to
do a linebacker, lineman. But anyway, yeah. So the Grand Dragon's got some cool variants which we might go through in the future. But anyway, Dragon itself, though, what do you reckon, Tom?
Seppuku out of 10.
So that's not a good score there for that. Nathan, have you got any opinions?
I would give it the treatment of Nobu Tetsuhara out of 10.
Cool. Well, I've actually had fun running a dragon not too long ago. In the era that it comes out in, it's quite mobile for its size, and it can run around some of the heavier mechs, causing some hassle. It's actually quite good in combat, close combat, which is cool.
I will preface my comments. This is very much from the position of playing the game.
Yeah.
So, like, when I have access to all of the mechs that exist, I can be very picky and go, the dragon's not great. But, like, if I was a DCMS mech warrior and they went, your choices are Panther or Dragon, I'm taking the Dragon.
To be honest, to kind of, I suppose, to support that, Theodore Creator did get issued a dragon. He turned it down and went for an Orion instead. So
yeah, but the Orion is a better dragon.
Orion is a, I suppose it is a better mech, but I suppose it's like, even in the universe, it's not always the pick.
It's that like the PPC region hasn't put PPC on their like main heavy mech.
Yeah, they did. It's called the Grand Dragon.
Yeah, the Grand Dragon,
Yeah.
which we're not talking about today.
It took them making a new mech to work out that PPCs are better than
It took them
AC5.
500 years to figure out if PPC is better than AC5.
Literally, you think you're joking, but it's literally what happened. They were like 4 succession wars in, and we've finally worked out how to put a PPC onto this bloody thing.
Yeah, I would say as well, this mech is actually not bad in Alpha Strike as well, because it's quite low PV, but it's quite good.
Yeah,
it's not the most damage, but because of the size and speed of it, it's actually quite good at being like a little charger. Or it's good.
Yeah,
at
but also in Alpha Strike, you don't have to worry about AC5s being shit. You just get like 1 damage from them.
Yeah.
So I kind of have less of a problem with it in Alpha Strike because I'm not having to look at the sheet and go, where did all my BV go?
Yeah, where did all my tonnage go? But yes, it's probably in a similar kind of ilk to the Shadow Hawk, where it's a cool looking mech. It's got some cool history. There's some cool ideas behind it, such as having the it being more of a wants to get in your face. It's got a rear facing laser, which is cooler in theory. But on tabletop, I think once you start coming away from the kind of early mechs, the intro tech mechs, then it starts to struggle quite a bit.
It struggles against intro tech mechs.
Yeah.
Like you put this up against
I climb
a Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
No, just even like a Thunderbolt, and the Thunderbolt's just going to wipe the floor. No, I think it went against the Locust, but like if you put it up against the Thunderbolt just wipes the floor with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's quite cheap though, so I suppose some of the mediums, I suppose, the class. Yeah, it's a nice totem mech for the Cretans, but it's not too crazy powerful, but it's a bit of fun. So if you want something that's a bit interesting to run, a bit of fun, take a dragon, but don't expect it to carry your to carry your lance. Cool. So yeah, so we're going to pop to a break, and we're going to catch you guys for the outro. Catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back from the outro. So obviously, thanks for listening, guys, to the episode. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, ring the bell, do all those cool good things. Do feel to get in contact with us at the hexpertshelpline at gmail.com. Or there are other methods such as Discords and such, which are all listed in the show notes or on the description for YouTube. Obviously, as we mentioned previously, thanks to all the guys that were kind of involved with the expo for running it, turning up, coming, playing, and speaking to us. We had a great time doing that. I'm sure both you guys can agree. Well, I hope you can.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get to do that again at some point in the future. And obviously, I'm sure you guys would like to thank the Welsh guys for putting up with you for the evening. But yeah.
Wow.
And then lastly, next week, what we're thinking maybe a GDL episode. I'm thinking we should talk about Ironwind Metal mechs, what mechs you can get. If you got a preference, let us know in the comments or messages, or whichever one wins out, we'll probably do next week. We'll probably do the one after that anyway, but we'll see what you guys want us to do. But yeah, anyway, we're going to catch you guys next week, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
See you.
See you next week.
Oh.